My name is Tiana. I'm going to walk you through my interdisciplinary unit template, or my interdisciplinary unit. Okay, so the unit title is Changes Caused by Conflict. I chose the same standard in ELA standard and content standard, which is social studies, for each day in my unit lesson. So the social studies standard I chose was for 6th grade history, and it says explain conflict and change in Europe. And I chose A specifically because it says describe the aftermath of World War I, the rise of communism, the Treaty of Versailles, and the rise of Nazism and worldwide depression. And the English standard that I chose is not specifically ELA. It is English standards that are specifically targeted to social studies and science standards that for 6th through 8th grade. So it says to write arguments focused on discipline specific content, and it says to support claims with logical reasoning and relevant, accurate data and evidence that demonstrate an understanding of the topic or text using credible sources. So my central focus basically revolves around the topic or the title of this unit, which is like students will familiarize themselves with the world in which they live by examining the major events in each region during the 20th and 21st century. So basically, students are going to see how conflict and change in the 20th century past Europe in the 21st century, and students will identify issues and the problems. They examine the sequence of events and the causes and effects of the conflict. So conflict here is the World War I, and we're seeing the effect of World War I or the aftermath of World War I, and we're going to target specific events that occurred after World War I. So there are 3 language demands that I have, and the first one is a novel event. And so in the novel event, after students are after the teacher has reviewed information that students should have learned, or if not, to just present students with the information as they begin to build upon that information, such as what caused World War I and what happened during World War I before they get to the aftermath of World War I. So during this assignment or assessment, students will create a historical fictional novel based on one of the main causes of World War I. Students will create a title, draw conclusions of the cause event on the cover of the book, and inside the textbook, students will write a description of their book. So basically, based off what students know of the causes of World War I, they will create their own novel based off it. So it's kind of a comprehension thing, and to allow the teacher to see if students are actually grasping, the causes of the conflict, so that they can now know, the effect. So the second formative assessment is the 2 viewpoints. So students will write how the Allies feel about the Treaty of Versailles in the left lens of the glasses, and then they will include a small illustration that represents their viewpoint alongside. In the right lens, students will represent the perspective of Germany. Students will write how Germany feels about the treaty, and that will include a small illustration that represents their viewpoint as well. Students will be given the opportunity to cut out the glasses and color the glasses. Here is what the glasses look like. And so as you can see, one side has Allies and the other side has Germany. And its topic is the Treaty of Versailles, which is the focus for day 1. So this is the novel event, and basically it's the title where they would title the book based off, whatever historical event they create, and then they will give a description of the event or the book information in that box there. And then the third one is the comprehension check. So basically this is a sheet where students will be able to show what they have learned from the lesson, and what information they have retained from the lesson after the teacher has went over it. So I got this PowerPoint from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it basically is a walkthrough of what it is that I'm doing in my lesson plan and in my unit lesson, so to speak. So these are the 3 the 4 causes of World War I, which is militarism. You can see pictures, alliances, there's pictures, imperialism, and nationalism, and then of course the war begins. And then it begins to talk about the Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war officially, and how each side felt about it, and which side was who on, and what the Treaty of Versailles included, and how it affected who. So after presenting this PowerPoint to students will actually be able to see how they feel and what happened, so that they can interpret for themselves as they fill out the glasses assessment. So that is that. This PowerPoint also includes the novel event, which I have already stated and talked about. In my lesson, I also included a Treaty of Versailles foldable, which talks about the 4 things included in the Treaty of Versailles. So Germany had to take responsibility, they had to give up land, they had to pay reparations, and the military was restricted. So it just shows, and as the teacher gives the handout, students will actually complete the handout, and they will go over as a class to fill in the information so that students can keep it as they continue through the unit and apply the information. So here's the 2 viewpoints, assignment, and the comprehension check. So basically it's like an end of assessment where students answer questions such as, when did World War I begin, and information that was presented on the PowerPoint. And as students are, or as the teacher is going through the PowerPoint, students will fill out what is called close notes, where they will take notes based off the PowerPoint, fill in the blank of information that is presented on this PowerPoint, so that they are following along, and that they also have something to go back on as the information is being presented to them. So yeah, the teacher will also do a KWL chart in the beginning of the class, just to see where students know and what they don't know, and based off that, the teacher will know if they need to go back and go more in depth about the World War I or not. And so for the second day, we're still on the Treaty of Versailles, and we're just doing more activities that help students comprehend the information. So one of the assessments is a 4-square organizer, and this 4-square organizer, students will complete the organizer based off the topics they were assigned. Basically, the 4 ways the Treaty of Versailles punished Germany. So each student will be assigned one of the 4 ways, which reparations, land or territorial loss, reduction in military, or the war guilt clause. And so based off of those, they will complete this 4-square, which the 4-square discusses different elements, such as what like explaining the part of the treaty and writing a headline for it, or in the perspective of Germany, creating a visual based off the aspect of it, the Treaty of Versailles they were chosen, and creating an emoji describing the way that Germany will feel. And so the second one is the history storyboard, where students will they will create a sequence of events that shows Germany's role in the major events of this time period. So basically, they will show the way that Germany contributed to World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, World War Depression. So they will illustrate and portray these events and write words about the events and how they all connect, or how they all follow one another. To another way of showing the comprehension of students. And then on day 3, it is still the same. Standard, ELAN, learning target. This time students will complete whatever activities from day 1 and day 2 that have not completed, such as the 2 viewpoints activity or the history storyboards, since it is an illustration and they get to color or draw and stuff. So I'll give students that extra time to complete that. And then students will complete the comprehension checkpoint again. So basically, the first time it will be presented as a in-class activity, you know, just to hit certain marks and certain points discussed in the PowerPoint, and to see if students were actually remembering the information that was presented to them. And then they will take it again as a summative assessment of everything they learned over the last few days, and that will be their summative assessment grade. Alrighty.